Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with Natalie PlamondonThomas. I already messed up your name, Natalie. I'm sorry, Natalie PlamondonThomas, and we all know Natalie because she is 8 times international bestseller. And Natalie works with people who want to find their confidence and unlock their full potential. She brings entrepreneurs the clarity they need to make money living from their passion. She's an international #1 bestseller author of 15 books on success and communications. And you've been doing this for what is it, almost 30 years now? Is that right?
Yeah,
Welcome
absolutely.
To the show. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be on your show.
Well, I think I've been working at off and on working at trying to get you on the show for a little bit then, and it's an honor for you to come. Because I know you're always so busy traveling and everything and trying to pin down the right times, right? So
it's all good. When we book in advance, we get the date that we want and we get it done.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So, okay, clarity and entrepreneurs don't always match up. How do you help entrepreneurs find the clarity they need?
The thing is that normally, it's not that we don't know what we want. It's not like we don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. We know what we should be doing, but we just don't do it because we listen to the internal voice inside our head. So we listen to our negative self-talk, and research show that 70% of our thoughts are negative. Like, we wouldn't have any friends if we talk to them the same way we talk to ourselves. Like, imagine this. You walk around and you talk to people like this and say, "Oh, hi. Oh, wow. You look really fat in these jeans." Or, "Oh, you're starting your business? It's never going to work. You're not good enough." Like, we don't talk to people like that, right? But we talk to ourselves like that. Why is that? It's crazy. And I'm included in that too. Like, I remember when I was starting my speaking business, I needed a video done. So I hired a cameraman. We had 3 cameras, one for the wide angle, one for the close-up, and one behind me from the back to see the large audience. And the problem was, Michael, there was only 20 people in the room. So we kept asking them to move from one section to another. So then when we would put all the segments together, it would look like there was a large audience. And it worked. That video reel got me a speaking engagement. So I got a phone call from an organization one day wanting me to train their sales force. So they asked for my rate. I didn't have a corporate rate. So I go, 250. So they say, okay, so for the 4 hours, there would be 1,000. I almost passed out because I made 250 for the whole thing. I had no clue, right? So I said, yes, that's correct, $1,000. And then I got the contract and I hung up the phone. I should have been excited. But the truth is, I felt like a fraud. I was totally experiencing impostor syndrome. See, the video I had made to make the audience look bigger than it really was, and my made-up corporate rate, none of it was real. I was just trying to look more than I really was, because somehow I felt like just me was not enough. So I remember sitting in my office that day and thinking, I have to shut down that negative self-talk. So I spent the last decades studying neuroscience, and I created a system to reprogram our negative self-talk, to reprogram that voice inside our inside our head. So that's the system that I share in my 8 international #1 bestseller. That's the system I use in all my online courses when I work with clients one-on-one and on the stages around the world. And I actually have a keynote tonight for a group in Mexico. And I have to say that it doesn't matter where we live. Negative self-talk is everywhere. 85% of people have lack of self-confidence in at least one area of their life, no matter where they are. Like for me, I'm from Quebec, so I have maple syrup running through my veins, and some other countries it's tequila. So whatever, it's everywhere.
Yeah. You're right, and we all do it. We all say to ourselves that we're not good enough or and everything. So if we don't end that negative self-talk, what happens?
So the thing is, let's go back a little bit into understanding how the brain works, because what happens is that there are parts of the brain that I love. I can probably spend a whole show talking about the prefrontal cortex. And today, let's talk about the logical mind and the unconscious mind. Two great parts of the brain. So the logical mind is that voice inside your head. That the logical mind can handle 5 to 9 pieces of information at a time. That's cool. And you know what, Michael? I think we're not recording.
We're recording.
We are? We are recording. Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Because I'm not seeing the button. I'm like, oh, should we do all of this all over again? Okay, so let's back to the logical mind. So the logical mind and the unconscious mind. So the logical mind can handle 5 to 9 pieces of information at a time. So that's cool. So you can multitask. You can do 5 to 9 things at a time. So that's why nowadays you can go grocery shopping, and at the same time you can be on a meeting on your phone, and you grab a can of soup on special with one hand. You keep your 2-year-old from falling off the cart with the other hand, and you still notice the guy in blue in the corner checking the girl in the seafood department. Like, we do all that at the same time. But have you ever noticed, let's say you are driving to a new address, getting there for the first time. It's a beautiful day, windows are down, music is on, and as you arrive closer to the address, you slow down and you start to look at the numbers on the houses. Michael, did you ever caught yourself having to lower the volume on the radio?
All the time.
Right, and it's weird because we think, how does the volume impair me seeing the numbers, right? It's kind of weird. It's because 5 to 9 pieces of information is not that many after all, because you have your foot on the brake, the foot on the accelerator, the hand on the steering wheel, there's a red light ahead, the kid that's about to cross the street, the lady that may cut you off, and then there's a dude in the car next to you winking at you, gross. So when you add looking at the numbers on the houses, the music becomes the one too many. So 5 to 9 pieces is not that great. And the other thing we've learned earlier about the logical mind is that 70% of our thoughts are negative. So the logical mind is not that great after all. Living at a logical level is like this. You're working hard. You're always like exhausted and you're working super hard. You have your goal, right? So you're aiming to build your business. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be successful. So you get up super early. You accept clients from 5 a.m. until 10 p.m. And then, of course, you have to take your kids to school and sport in between your meetings. And, oh, yeah, you need to start a podcast. Oh, and you need to post on social media. Oh, and you need an account on Clubhouse now, too. And the harder you work, the more exhausted you feel. You have zero life balance. And you feel like you're getting farther and further away from your dream life. It is like you're trying to go to Vancouver, but you're in an aircraft that's flying to Ontario. It's never going to work if you stay in that aircraft. You can work as hard as you possibly can, but the aircraft is exponentially so much more powerful and fast that you're never going to get there if you don't get off the aircraft. So people want to get off that aircraft, and I say, no, stay on the aircraft, just talk to the pilot. Imagine how fast you will get there once the pilot is on board. Hey, Mr. Pilot, do you mind turning around? That's where I want to go. So much easier, right? So I'm going to teach you how to talk to that pilot. So that pilot is the other part of the brain that I'm very excited about, your unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind can handle 2.3 million pieces of information every second. The logical mind was 5 to 9. The unconscious mind, more than 2.3 million pieces of information every second. That's where the power is. So we need to use that unconscious mind. I call it your personal assistant. So your personal assistant is your pilot that is following the address that you put on the GPS. So your personal assistant is standing there with their notepad, writing down everything that you say or think, and it makes it happen. But the problem is, people wake up in the morning, they look at themselves in the mirror, and they say, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so stressed out. I think I'm gaining weight." So then their personal assistant writes it down. Tired, stressed out, gaining weight. I got this. Okay, tired. What can I do for this? Well, I know. I'm going to make her stay awake all night so that she's not going to be able to sleep. She's going to be really tired. Check. Stressed out. What can I do for this? Oh, I know. I'm going to make her forget something very important at home. She's going to have to turn around in traffic. That's going to be stressful. Or I can make her delete a very important appointment in her calendar. That's going to be stressful. Check. Gaining weight. Oh, I know. That's easy. I can certainly find a chocolate bar or something deep fried for her to eat today. Check. So your personal assistant is listening to your orders and make it happen. So it's very important to tell our personal assistant what we want, not what we don't want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In for those of you out there listening, it's like you've heard this before. It's just she's putting it in a slightly different way, so that hopefully it sinks in this time and you understand.
The stories, the metaphor. I've been crowned the metaphor queen more than once.
No, I love the metaphor, and I love the story that you're telling as we're driving to an address, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when we tell our personal assistant what we don't want, it is like you're doing a kitchen renovation, and then you tell your contractor to paint your kitchen not blue. Huh? Well, what color do you want your kitchen to be, right? So we say what we don't want. My clients do this to me all the time. They come to me and they say, "Natalie, I don't want to be stressed anymore. I'm tired of doubting myself. I don't want to be impatient with my kids, and I'm tired to be broke. I don't want to be broke anymore." So then their personal assistant writes it down. Stress, doubting, impatient, broke. Check. I got it. Because you know what's going to happen when people are convinced with the wrong thing? If your personal assistant has the wrong list, let's take it for example. You probably know anyone that has been trying to lose weight or trying to get in shape, right? So that's pretty general. So everybody knows somebody. So let's pretend that somebody is convinced that exercise is hard and they hate it, and that whenever they lose weight, they always get it back, right? That's a common limiting belief. A lot of people believe that when you lose weight, you always get it back. Or they believe that they're overweight and they keep saying, "I am fat," right? So if that's what's on the notepad of the personal assistant, that's what the personal assistant is working on. So let's say, for example, that they start to exercise and then they join a class that is pretty cool, it's pretty fun. So they start liking it. And now they feel so much better and they get stronger and they even start to lose weight. They're having a great time. So their personal assistant goes in panic mode and says, "Oh no, what? I'm not doing my job. She said she wanted to hate it and now she's loving it. And she said she wanted to be overweight and she's losing weight. Oh no, I'm not doing my job. What can I do? Oh, I know. I'm going to make her fall on the sidewalk. She's going to hurt herself. She's not going to be able to train anymore and she's going to gain the weight back." Check. I've done my job, right? So we have to tell our personal assistant what we want, not what we don't want. Like, I understand that sometimes we like to talk with the negation. I don't want to be stressed. I don't want this. But let's close our eyes for a second. Let's do a test. Okay, so unless you're listening to this as you're driving, okay, so please, audience member, if you are driving, keep your eyes open. But everyone else, let's close our eyes. So close your eyes for a second. Now, with your eyes closed, do not visualize Mickey Mouse wearing a yellow tuxedo standing on top of a pink Mercedes Benz. Do not visualize Mickey Mouse wearing a yellow tuxedo standing on top of a pink Mercedes Benz. And now you can reopen your eyes. Did we see it? Even if I said do not visualize, we saw it because the brain has to process the whole information before it can negate it. And by this time, it's too late. It's already on the notepad, and the personal assistant is making it happen, right?
Now you see, you added something that I never heard before. That our brain has to process all the information before it can decide, that's negated.
Yes.
So it's already happened.
It is too late. It is already on the notepad.
So when we say I don't want language. So when we say I don't want or the term not,
I want to stop.
Yep. See, that makes total sense.
So let's ask always the question, what do you want instead? I don't want to be stressed anymore. What do you want instead? Well, I don't want to be tired. Okay, what do you want instead of being tired? Well, I want to have energy. You want to have energy. There you go. That's what you want. Say what you want, not what you don't want, right? Just like if you tell your paint that your painter to paint your kitchen not blue, they're going to build the kitchen, and then they're going to say, okay, which color did she say she wanted? Oh yeah, she said something about blue. Blue it is. There you go. Right? Because you have to see what you want and not what you don't want. So words do matter. It's very important that we tell our personal assistant what we want. So let's say that you hear something negative in your mind, okay? So I'll give you a 2-step technique to change the way that we talk to ourselves, okay? So now, because if we've been going the wrong direction for a while, then we need to change the address on the GPS. Otherwise, if we don't change the address on the GPS and we try to change direction and go towards your goal because you've been saying all these negative things, if you don't change the address on the GPS, what's going to happen? Recalculating, right?
Yeah, exactly.
GPS, right? That's what's going to happen. So what we need to do is we need to change the address at an unconscious level. Like in real life, in your car, it's easy. You push the button, you change the address. In your brain, it's a little bit different, right? Like the process needs to happen at an unconscious level. You can't really do that by yourself at a logical level. That's what I do. I have specific tools that I use with my clients, tools that are like a dentist with very specific tools to do the fillings when you have cavities. So it's like I'm working on the brain cavities. And it's normal to have cavities, right? Like you've never told one of your friends, what? You go to the dentist? No, it's normal. Everybody goes to the dentist. We eat food gets stuck. We need to go to the dentist. They have a special tool. They're going to get rid of that cavities. However, for our brain, it's the same thing. We all go through experiences. We go through life, and then we build limiting belief from our past experiences. We get negative self-talk and anger, fear, hurt, sadness, guilt, bad habits. We need to get rid of that. These are all cavities that we don't need to carry anymore, right? So I do have special processes that I use with my clients. Some of the processes that I use with Army vets that have serious PTSD, or people that have been abused, or people that have been into car accidents, or I've just helped a woman get back on her motorcycle because she had an accident, a woman that her daughter got abducted, and there's a lot of trauma that happened to us, and you don't need to have been in a car on fire or in a house on fire in order to have a trauma. PTSD is present in most people's lives, but we don't know it because we assume that it's just a little thing. But if you continue to think about that event, if you continue to have limiting beliefs that are holding you back, because it's not like we don't know what to do. We know what to do, but we don't do it, right? Mm-hmm. So we absolutely need, there's probably, there you go. So we absolutely need to get rid of these things. And one of the protocols that I use for severe PTSD has 89 steps. It's not simple. You can't really do that by yourself at a logical level. However, today I'm giving you a 2-step technique that you can use by yourself right away to start the process. It's like I'm giving you a crowbar and you can start lifting the old countertop in the kitchen that you want to renovate. Okay, so here's the technique. Who's done affirmations before? Have you ever done affirmations before, Michael? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sorry to say this, but affirmations will not work if you don't believe them. Because
right.
when you say an affirmation, it has to feel real when you say it. Because let's say that I work with the Think Yourself Thin program, with my clients that are highly overweight. It's not going to work for me to say, okay, put your hands on your hips and say, I am thin. Their brain goes, no, we're not. Or the Think Yourself Wealthy program with clients that are in deep financial struggles. It's not going to work for me to say, okay, repeat after me, stand tall and say, I am rich. Their brain goes, no, we're not. The personal assistant is like, what's she talking about? Oh, I know. We must be watching a vampire movie. Vampires don't exist. She's not talking to me. I'm not writing this down. So if there's too big of a disconnect between your affirmation and the reality, it's not going to work. So there are 2 steps to do before you can do your affirmation. So step number 1, you hear something in your brain and you have to repeat it in the past with I used to. Okay, so step number 1, repeat it in the past with I used to. So you hear yourself say, oh, I'm so stressed out all the time. Step number 1, I used to be stressed out all the time. So your personal assistant hears that. Oh, yeah, stressed out. I got that on my notepad right here. She's talking to me. Oh, but why are we talking about this in the past? Are we done with this? Do I scratch that off or what? What's going on? You have their attention. So now immediately you proceed to step number 2. Step number 2 is a progressive statement. A progressive statement starts with I am willing to learn or I'm in the process of. Okay? Mm-hmm. So you hear yourself say, I'm so stressed out. And then you're like, oh no, I was listening to Michael Clark's podcast. And then there was this French Canadian girl that was there. And she was telling us that we have a personal assistant in our head. And now I just told my personal assistant that I wanted to be stressed out. What can I do? I'm going to do my 2-step technique. Step number 1, I used to be stressed out all the time. Now I'm in the process of changing that. I am willing to learn how to build a balanced life. Right? So you talk about it in the past and then you do a progressive statement. So then you change the way you used to think about it and then you say what you really want to be on the notepad is you want to build a balanced life. Or let's say you hear yourself say, oh, I'm so bad with technology. How many times did we say that in the past 2 years, right? Because everybody was starting to get online and we need to click on Zoom and I don't know where to click. What's going on? You're muted, da. So, okay, we kept telling ourselves, I'm so bad with technology. So your personal assistant was making sure you didn't see where the microphone was to unmute yourself. Of course, because you kept telling yourself you were bad with technology. So you say, I used to think I was bad with technology. Now I'm willing to learn what it is that I have to click in order to move my business to online. That's easy. You just have to be willing to learn because we are very good with technology. We all have a phone, these dopamine spiking device. We figure them out, right? And they do updates on our phones all the time. And all of a sudden you can't find the pictures you took of your dog wearing a bikini. But hey, you keep clicking on everything and you figure it out because we're good with technology. It's because technology keeps changing. It's not like a bicycle. Once you know how to ride the bicycle, you know it. The bicycle is not going to change. Mm-hmm. It hasn't changed in years, but technology changes all the time. We are really good at adapting to technology. How many remotes have we had in our lives? We figured it out, right? We had so many different kind of TVs, so many different, like figuring out the microwave when they came up, right? Like there's so many pieces of technology that we were faced to learn, and we learned it. We figured it out. So we are good with technology, but we need to tell our personal assistant that we're willing to learn where it is that we have to click. That's all. We can figure it out. We're good with that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
So use that 2-step technique. Now, I know if you like that kind of thing, so the 2-step technique is one tip. Right. But if you like that, I have a confidence guide that has multiple questions in it to help you reprogram the 6 layers of the brain. And it includes 15 keys to confidence. So you can download that for free. So you go to thinkyourself.com/ confidence guide. And then the two-step technique is in the confidence guide as well. So thinkyourself.com/confidence guide. So you can go download that for free if you want.
I love your website, especially the URL. Think Yourself.
The thinkyourself.com.
Yeah. That is like because one of the things that that when you talk about technology and TV and all that kind of stuff, that we have this other thing out there that tries to tell us how to think. And you right there, your opening message is think yourself. Like you can turn that, we can turn that off, right?
Absolutely. I remember when I started to build my business, that voice in my head, because I'm French Canadian, right? I had just moved, that small town girl from Saint-Raymond-Port-Neuf had just moved to English Canada. And then the voice was telling me, what? You want to be a professional speaker, like in English? You don't even speak English. You're kidding me? You want to write books in English? It's not going to work. You're not good enough. So I made a lot of progressive statements, I tell you. I have made a lot of progressive statements myself. I had to drink my own Kool-Aid. So the thing is, okay, the voice in my head was kind of right. My English was really bad. I remember teaching a yoga class once, and I wanted my participants to relax their body at the end during the relaxation, right? So I wanted them to relax, to calm their body, calm their face, and I wanted them to put their tongue on the roof of their mouth just to relax their jaw. So I'm with a calm voice, I tell everybody, put your thong behind your tits. And then everybody started to laugh, and apparently I was not pronouncing the word teeth very well. And then I had no clue of what I had said wrong. I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, the voice in my head was kind of right. My English was really bad, but guess what? I figured it out. And instead of saying my English is bad, I said, I'm willing to learn how to speak English. I'm willing to learn how to pronounce better. I'm willing to learn the vocabulary that I will need in order to spread my message around the world.
Yeah.
Because in French, the market was more restrictive. And if I could speak English, there would be access to bigger stages where I could impact more people, right?
Right.
So you just have to be willing to learn. Use that two-step technique. You're going to use that every day, all the time from now on. Catch your thoughts and make sure that you are changing the way that you talk to yourself, because we need to do that, especially as entrepreneur. You know, that impostor syndrome, right? It happens a lot to a lot of entrepreneurs. Yeah.
In another interview, I had a discussion with somebody about that imposter syndrome, because remember before we came on air, we had a brief conversation about where we could have met and all that kind of stuff, and all the different places it was, and all those different, some of those places where we could have met, where there was somebody on the big stage there, and I got invited to go backstage and talk to a couple people and everything. And somebody finally had to sit me down and tell me, is like, you're not an imposter. You get invited into these places because you are the real thing. And it's something that that self-talk, is like, oh, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And
exactly.
So now we have to teach ourselves to say in our brain that we belong there. How do we do that?
Absolutely. Imposter syndrome is very specific, and it is more frequent. It happens more to the people who are very perfectionist, who have very high achievement values. So people that aim high and people that are perfectionists and that like to do things right, more likely will experience imposter syndrome more, because they want perfection. And they know very well that they are not perfect themselves, because we know ourselves inside out. We know all our own flaws. I know all my flaws. But when people are looking at me, they have no idea, because they're not hearing my negative self-talk. So think about that. 85% of people lack of self-confidence in at least one area of their life. 70% of our thoughts are negative. So that means that whomever is around you, we compare ourselves to them. We see them through these pink glasses, thinking that they are perfect because we don't hear their negative self-talk. We don't know their flaws, but we know ours. So that's why we feel like we don't belong to all these amazing people, because we don't hear what they say inside their head, right? So, of course, there are some people that will portray themselves to look more confident, and maybe they are using the two-step technique. They have strategies. They have worked through the 6 layers of their brain, because that's what I do with my clients. There are more than one thing to reprogram in the brain. We need to really address the 6 levels of a person's self, according to Robert Dilts, because that's the research that I base my work on. So we need to reprogram all 6 layers. And sometimes we are trying to fix the wrong layer. So, for example, the first layer is the environment. So it's the people around you. So make sure you surround yourself with people that are positive, that are supporting you, that are nice to you, right? And the things that are around you as well. It's our stuff, right? So you want to make sure that you have positive things around you. The next layer is the behavior. There are the things that we do. So you get up, brush your teeth, get dressed, drive, eat. So these are behavior. There are things that we do. And let's remember that in behaviors, let's count and hit in this level, we count exercise and nutrition as well, because I'll give you an example with that. So these are behavior. Then the next level is the skills. They're not just things that we do, they are things that we do really well. So our skills, we are really good at that stuff, okay? So that's usually what we do for a living. So you're a very good host. So that's you interviewing people, or you are an entrepreneur, or whatever it is that you have developed a skill because you've practiced over and over, or because you were born with a gift, you are able to have this skill. Now, most people stop there. They work on their skills, they take another course and another course and another course, or they do behaviors, they exercise and nutrition because they try to lose weight, or in their environment, they wear spandex and they go to the gym, or they surround themselves with a group of runners, but that's not going to fix the problem that might be in the next 3 levels, because there's 3 more. Level number 4, beliefs and value. All those limiting beliefs that are there, we need to fix that. Because if you have a limiting belief that, oh, I will always gain the weight back, it's not by applying a behavioral solution, exercising and eating well, that you will fix the problem that's happening in level 4, in beliefs. You have to change the belief in order to get there. The next level is level number 5 is identity. It's the I am. Everything that you say after I am. I am amazing. I am a superstar. I am so great. And a lot of people say, I am not good enough. I am fat. I am weak. I am bad with names. A lot of people say that. And the problem is, if you say to yourself, I am fat, that's a belief, and you try to fix it with exercising and nutrition, that's behavior. It's in level 2. You can't apply a solution in level 2 to fix a problem that's in level 5. Or if you say to yourself, I am not good enough, that's level 5. You can't apply an environmental solution, buying expensive designer shoes, or buying a big house or a big truck. That's not going to fix the problem in level 5. A designer purse is not going to fix an I am not good enough. I'm sorry. We need to fix the problem where it belongs. And once we have fixed all the problems in level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you've worked on yourself and you love who you are, using your skills, your beliefs are supporting you. And what you do it in an environment or surrounded with people that support you as well. That's when you can get to level 6, your purpose. Now it goes beyond yourself. It's not about loving yourself anymore, because you love yourself. You love your identity. Now it goes to, who else are you serving? Why are you here? Who else can benefit from you being at your best, living your full potential? Who are you inspiring? What is your purpose? Why are you here? So living from purpose is very important. Everything else needs to be aligned. Right. So that's why we need to work at every single layer of a person's self in order to make a real transformation, to find confidence and clarity, so that you can make money living from your passion. Because there's too many people keeping a full-time job that they hate because they don't believe that they could make money living from their passion.
Right.
It's very sad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Oh no. So you teach people all this, and you actually you do you do this in group sessions or also one-on-one?
Yeah, I also do one-on-one, and I also have online courses. I have over 16 online courses. I have courses for children that we teach self-esteem and perseverance with the adventures of Captain Vic for kids, or I teach through Think Yourself Confident, Think Yourself a Sales Pro, Think Yourself a Relationship Pro, Think Yourself Wealthy, Think Yourself Healthy, Think Yourself Thin, Think Yourself a Marketing Pro, Think Yourself a Tech Pro. So I have so many different courses. Think Yourself a Business Pro, 10 Keys to a Successful Business. So all these are online courses. And I also do one-on-one and business mentorship as well. Because a lot of people would come to me so they can get rid of their cavities, because that's what I do primarily. And some people would come to me and say, Natalie, I'm confident. I got this. I trust myself, but I need you to teach me how to make money. Because even though I'm a confidence expert, I'm not a business expert. I didn't study how to, although I have a baccalaureate in business administration, but I did not study social media. However, I have a very good social media technique that I use for myself to transform social media fans into paying clients. So a lot of people want me to teach them that. So I do business mentorship as well, because sometimes people have the confidence. They don't need me to tweak their brain. They don't have any cavities, but they still want me to help them with their social media strategy, or their funnel marketing, or how to create an online course, because I've got about 16 of them. So I've done one or two, right? So I can just avoid everybody else to make all the mistakes that I made, because I made all the mistakes that there's. Like my first online course, you know how many I sold? 0. I didn't sell any because I didn't know how to market it. It was the wrong price, wrong course, wrong length. Everything was wrong about it. And then I created a second one, and I sold like 7 of them in the first year. Not a good success either. But I slowly figured it out. So now I'm at course 16. I got it. I know how to do that, so I can teach others so that they don't make the same mistakes that I made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that in all of your wonderful books and everything. So
yes, so I'm happy to offer your audience, if they would like just to have a free virtual coffee with me, I'm happy to have a chat. So free 15 minutes virtual coffee. Go to thinkyourself.com/schedule, and then we'll get on Zoom together and have a quick chat and see if I can help you with something.
Yeah. So you actually covered it. I was going to say, what are the best ways to work with you? And there it is, right?
There you go. So you can go to thinkyourself.com, can download the confidence guide, thinkyourself.com/confidence guide, or book a virtual coffee with me, thinkyourself.com/schedule. And I'm looking forward to be chatting with you.
Yeah. Trust me, you will have a wonderful time with her. Natalie is a totally fun person, as well as knowledgeable and able to fix our brains. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
All those courses in neuroscience paid off, right?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for inviting me to your podcast. It was an absolute pleasure to be chatting with you this morning.
All right. Thanks for coming along, and thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you next time.
So
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.